Hi there, and welcome to the first ever episode of Gem Chats. Gem Chats is a place where me, Gem, get to chat about anything and everything about life, whether it's love, friendships, careers, or going through your fifth midlife crisis in your short but long 27 years of your life. That is what I'm here to chat about. So grab yourself a beverage. I have a nice cup of tea, which my boyfriend offered to make, but I ended up taking over and making it for him anyway. And let's get cracking. Believe it or not, I have had this podcast planned for a good few months now. if you're if you don't know anything about me, which I think majority of you do not, I studied media and communications in City of Glasgow College, and throughout my time, especially my final year, I worked really hard with the podcasting aspect of the course. One of our modules is we had to do work experience, so we had to do stuff for the college website, and me and my other classmate Ina offered to podcasting, so I focused really heavily on that, and it was something I was really really passionate about. And and I knew my time at college was coming to an end. I knew I wasn't going to uni because I just didn't fancy going to university. I wanted to get a job because I'm not gonna lie, being 27, this is my second time around at college. I did not want to do another few years of study for me to be nearly 30 when I graduate, which there's nothing wrong with. That wasn't on my plan of life, pretty much. So I decided to come up with this idea for Gem Chats and try and do this when I finish college to try and keep my kind of content and podcast making skills into good use to try and impress future. Because if you want to apply for like podcast editing roles or content creating roles where you're not doing anything, that's not going to fly. It really isn't. But just before I graduated, I actually got a job in social media. It's a full-time job as well, and I was so beyond happy. Like, this was beyond my plans, but I was so happy. I got to quit my retail job that I had for nearly 10 years. I got it when I was at school that wanted to make an extra bit of money, and life got in the way, and I was still there nearly 10 years later. It was a great day handing in my notice for that because I didn't actually think it would actually ever happen for me. And I felt dead lucky that I had gotten a postgraduate job just before I'd actually finished my course. I felt like life was finally on my side, and I felt like all my hard work was starting to pay off. Now, fast forward to under 5 months later, I am sat here in my spare bedroom slash office slash beauty room, unemployed. I lost my job nearly 2 weeks ago now. And to say that it threw me a bit is a fucking understatement. I am sat here unemployed for the first time since I was 17, and I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And I know for a fact I am not alone. So, care to join me on this chaotic journey that is my podcast as I try to navigate life by not having a job. So, I am not sure what the future holds for me. I suppose that's the thing with life. You don't know where you're going to end up. But when you're going through life in your adulthood for the first time, not knowing when your next paycheck is going to come in, it's a bit petrifying. So I'm constantly thinking, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to pay for my car, my phone, food? I can't go out and get takeaway coffees as much now, which I know is a very first world problem, but that's something that motivates me to go on my hot girl walk sometimes. I like to have a stop in between and get myself a wee treat, just to say, well done, you left the house today, you're so productive. It's such an art, you know? I have to really think about these things now. Because, yes, ironically, I have a lot of free time now. I mean, not a lot. I have all the time in the world now. I don't have a job. I don't think I mentioned that. Not only that, but I can't go out and do anything because I don't have a job. It's like, the world is my oyster. But is anything free nowadays in this fucking cost of living? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. So let's take you back to the day that I had lost my job, okay? When I sat down with my boss and the conversation started, I just knew what was happening. I just knew. And I was really, really upset when that was happening because I think it stems from not only childhood trauma, but also from previous relationships in which nothing went the guy's way. I would definitely be paying the price for it. And and that left me scarred for a very long time. So I hate to disappoint people. I wouldn't say I was a teacher's pet when I was at school, but I never went on my way to disappoint them. I always just did the work. I always kind of followed the rules, but I never kissed anyone's arses, right? I wasn't that type of teacher's pet. I was the quiet, very demure type of gal. I did the same at my work life. Just I went and did the job and I left. I try not to do anything wrong. But I think over the last few years, I'm just like, I'm sick and tired of working hard and not getting any reward for it. And I find that kind of I find that kind of followed me into this job. I'm not gonna lie. But again, there was no bad blood between me and my previous job, by the way. I was really upset when I got told I lost the job. And then I went to my car, and I was on my way back home. And a couple minutes in, I don't know why this came into my brain, but I immediately just thought, this is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to me. And you know what? I still stand by that. Because I don't miss the workplace, I don't miss the job. I miss getting paid. I miss knowing when money is going to come in. Also, I kind of miss the aspect of me saying, I work in social media, I got this through my hard work. But the creative industry is so cutthroat. You really don't have room to make mistakes or to be given room to improve. And that's what the industry is. They don't have time to show you or guide you through things, unfortunately. But it's also one of those things where it's like, yes, I'm in experience, but I thought this job would be a good gateway for me to get further experience. No, 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 no. Even your stepping stones don't even want to show you or guide you, really. That's something I had to learn the really hard way. And I just wish I just stuck it out with my retail job. Now, same time I don't. I'm glad I got this other job and I got to experience a different way of working. I think one of the big issues for me was like, again, I mentioned I worked in retail for nearly 10 years. That's all I knew. So to go from that to being in a 9 to 5 job, in an office job, and my office didn't have windows. So I barely knew where the weather was unless I heard the rain and the wind hitting the building. It was not fun. It definitely made me feel really stuffy. It did not make me feel motivated to do anything at all. Like, having exposure to the sun or even just a bit of fresh air, it does motivate me. I'm saying that as in I just blocked out any type of sunlight and any natural light in this room. But when you're working, if you're in this place 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and the tiny bit of sun you get is when you wake up in the morning before you leave for work, and when you get out of work for a few hours after. It is not the best. It is not the best environment to be in. So the dynamic of that workplace was kind of weird because it was like one company owned a bunch of different other companies. So I had like the marketing and I had the podcasting. So a lot of women did work at my place of work, but they weren't in the marketing team. They were downstairs in the proper office. And the only people that I had any kind of most conversation with that day was with the men in the marketing thing. As I forgot to mention, I was the only girl in that office. And there were times they'll be talking about things like football, wrestling, any type of manly topic, men being men. I don't want to be a stereotype, but I don't pay attention to that. I only pretend they care about football when it comes to my boyfriend and my dad. I mean, I will go to a game, but I don't really follow all the leagues. I don't care. I don't really care who gets signed. I don't care if them losing that player is going to wreck them for the season. I don't care. I really don't care. But when it came to the women, like they were lovely. Do not get me wrong, they were lovely. But I think it's because I wasn't with them a lot downstairs. And plus they all have known each other for years. Even before they all work together, they've all kind of known each other and they all live near each other. Like they're all really, really close. Okay, they're all extremely close. And they're all like married, have kids, have different priorities in life to me. When I nearly got myself in debt for getting Sabrina Carpenter tickets, like it's just different types of people, different type of vibes. When I did my retail job, I had moved store and I was going through the same thing. But after a while, you do start to get to know people, you do start to get along with people, and that never really happened. It was just two completely different kind of things, and it was just some days I felt like I didn't really have anyone to talk to, and I didn't really have that work mate I could just rely on, be like, oh, can't be arsed today, can't be arsed today. Because when you work at a supermarket, everyone gets along because we all have at least one thing in common, is that we don't want to be working in this retail job, but we have to. And the only way for us to get through it is to make friends. And I never really had that core work friendship. I just didn't. So I think that's why I'm very so detached from it now. Because I'm like, well, there isn't really anyone I would just call up and meet up with, you know? Again, I don't have any bad blood with anyone that I worked with or that workplace. I really, really don't. I'm just trying to I guess I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that I don't work there anymore and how I actually felt. I guess deep down I knew I did not enjoy the job. And I think it's just still just me adjusting to the fact that I went from a retail job to an office job. Which I know they're all completely different lines of work. People will say that, but when you're so used to one thing and you go and do another thing, it's people don't realize that is a big change. And I think people need to be way more sympathetic towards that. Like they really, really do. Some people take a lot longer than others, and that's completely okay. Which I know in this economy, they can't really, they don't have room for things like that, but there definitely does need to be more support and it's like, and a bit more understanding to things like that. The thing that has definitely got me through losing this job is definitely the support that I have received since I announced that I don't have a job. Because I started to create content again as soon as I lost the job. Because I'm like, well, at least now I have time to actually do this extra stuff that I've been wanting to do, but I felt way too tired or way too drained to do. Because ironically, working social media and your downtime with social media and you want to make content potentially for social media, you don't want to be doing that all the time because it gets exhausting. I just started making wee vlogs. I'm just trying to find my feet in. And the amount of support I've received has been amazing from like friends, family. Yeah, so I received a comment on one of my TikTok vlogs the other day, and it was a complete stranger, right? She did not need to do this, but she said she really liked my editing style and that she hopes that things work out for me. That's a stranger, and that completely made my day. And I have a friend that comment that sends me messages, and she's literally like, "Oh my god, like, it's kind of sad, but like but I'm quite excited to see what you're posting next now because I really like your videos." Like even though I've not gained like an audience, like a big audience, like yet, hopefully, it is so nice to receive these nice wee comments from people and just support of people being like, you know what, hey, listen, you lost your job. It's probably going to be the best thing for you. And you just need to work on yourself now and maybe take this time just to figure shit out. And I did manifest this a good few years ago. I was like, I wish I was in a financial place in my life where I just don't need to work. I could just live. I'm not in a financial place to not be working, but at least place to kind of figure out what I need to do to keep slaying, if you know what I mean. I'm sorry this episode was kind of all over the place. I just finally had the confidence to finally sit down and record myself. And I'm just trying to explain the meanings behind this podcast, to be honest. And if anyone has been through the same boat of like losing their job or finding themselves without a job, or even if you've been through this yourself and you come out at the other side, I would love to hear from anyone. I would love to build a wee community here, and I could potentially I could maybe potentially read out your stories or something at some points in some of the episodes because I think that'd be a great interaction. Just want this to be a safe place for people. And I also kind of wanted to make it seem like I'm either sending them a voice note or we're on FaceTime. I kind of want to be that person for someone that might be struggling out there because I really do. I want that for myself and I want to give that to someone. So, although what I will talk about, and I think it's the current state of the creative industries right now, is there's this girl I follow on TikTok. I think her name's Lucy. I can't really remember, but she's from Australia and she recently moved to London with her boyfriend. And not long before she moved to Australia, she was looking for jobs and she got one as is something to do with copywriting or something like that. It was an all remote job, so she works from home all the time. And her boyfriend really struggled to find a job. And 5 months down the line, he finally gets a job. And she makes a video about how, oh my god, his first day, his job, his first day. We both have had jobs since we moved here. It's so great. 2 hours later, she got made redundant from her job. And she said it was because the place she worked at was overhired. They overhired. And I think that just shows the state of the current job market and the creative industries right now. It is so bad. And there is no luck out there for anyone, really. So many people are getting laid off, and so many people are getting made redundant. So many places are shutting down. It's just, it's an oversaturated industry with not enough jobs. When there's so many podcasts out there, I am not making it easy for all the podcast lovers out there. That's why there's so many content creators, there's so many TikTokers, YouTubers, all that kind of stuff. Because it's better off being self-employed and being freelance, getting to work for you rather than working for a company that could just let you go in an instant. Because the industry is so cutthroat. And that is my kind of rant over. Yeah, so I am petrified. I am absolutely petrified that it'll be 6 months, maybe a year, and I still won't be able to find a job. But I am hopeful. That's why I'm trying to create content right now, and that's why I'm trying to bring my skills up and trying to get myself out there, make myself known. That is the only way to easily get a job in this industry. If you enjoyed this chaotic podcast, then this has been Gem Chats, where me, Gem, talks about everything in life. Anything and everything of life, whether it's love, friendship, employment, or whatever it is. I am here. And I hope you had a great time with me. I certainly have had a great time recording this up for you all. In this next episode, I'll be chatting a bit about how I'm trying to adapt to a new life in a new town. Hopefully, I'll catch you all next time. And yeah, see you next time. Goodbye.